Now think about this right here. When a man has forced sexual intimacy with a stranger, it's considered illegal. Why is it illegal? We call it rape, right? Why is it illegal? Because he's having an intimate moment with a woman he does not know. So that act isn't recognized as being legal because you are forcing yourself on somebody you don't know. And let me tell you, worship is the same way. I'm telling you, God is raped every Sunday because so many of us go through the motions of worship, but we don't even know who God is. And so it is not legitimate, and God doesn't honor it, because in order to have real worship, you got to have real relationship. The reason the woman presses charges against that man's intimacy, she's like, you went through all those motions with me, and you didn't even know who I was. And that is illegal, and that's why God doesn't receive a lot of the worship you see going on, because he's like, you're saying all of this stuff, you're lifting your hands, but you have no idea who I am. And I don't know about anybody else, but I refuse to worship God illegally. I want my worship to be real. I want when I lift my hands, it touch something in his heart. I want the words of praise that come out of my mouth to move God. I want my worship to be legal. In fact, Jesus said that on the day of judgment, he's going to have a shocking announcement to people that went through the motions but didn't know him. Make a note of it. Matthew 7:21 through 23. And in Matthew 7:21-23, Jesus said, there are going to be many on that day that say to me, Lord, I cast out devils in your name. I prophesied in your name. I've done many wonderful works in your name. And he's going to say, depart from me. I never knew you. Why? That work was done in sin. So there are going to be a whole lot of people on the day of judgment that went through the motions. But he's like, you raped me. That wasn't even legal what you were doing because you had no relationship with me. The most important thing about worship is not the motions. It's not the style. It's not the procedure. It's the fact that you got a relationship with God. How many of you understand what I'm saying? All right, so let's not be mugging God and copping a free feel. Let's be sincere in our worship. So they're in this place that the worship wasn't real, and they're going to eventually acknowledge, I don't know who God is. In fact, look at it. Verse number 13. He says unto them in verse 13, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? Now that's interesting. He asked them to tell him who he was, but he answered their own question. Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they still drop the ball. Watch this, verse 14. And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and other Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. When he asked, who have they told you I was? Everybody had an answer. Most people, their relationship with God is defined by what somebody told them about God. Everybody had an answer. You're John the Baptist, you're Elias, or one of the prophets. Everybody could explain how they knew him based on what somebody else had said. But how many of you know if you got a relationship based on somebody else's opinion, you really don't got a relationship? You know that, right? Because God is not secondhand revelation. In fact, there are many people that we will never have a relationship if somebody tells us who they are. It's like, don't even try to get to know that one. She's shady, she's crazy, she'll borrow $20, never pay it back, then cuss you out when you say, where's my $20? And see, sometimes you can be told something about someone and never get to know them because the information you were given was wrong. And a lot of people don't know God because grandma told you something with her jacked up flowered dress that won't quite right, and because of it, you don't know God. So you got to be careful if you define your relationship with God based on secondhand revelation. The preacher told me you were a healer. Well, that don't do nothing for me when I'm in the hospital room needing a miracle. You see, whatever you have in your relationship with God is born out of your own connection with him. So everybody had an answer. You're John the Baptist, you're Elias. But he said, okay, good. Then he takes it a step further. Notice what he says, verse 15. And he said unto them, but whom say ye that I am? Very good that you can tell me what they taught you in Sunday school. Very good that you can tell me what mama told you, what the preacher told you, what you heard on 103.9. It's good that you can tell me all of what they told you. But then he takes it a step further and says, now I want to know, who do you say that I am? And all these brothers that had an opinion about who people said he was, now that he's pressing them for their opinion, nobody had nothing to say. They got quiet. It's amazing that most people, after you get them through talking about what they heard about God and say, now tell me what you know for yourself, they ain't got nothing to say. They can tell you everything they heard in church, but nothing about their own personal meeting of God.